Hello, I'm Pat May, your Negotiating Committee Chairman. As part of the ongoing education effort and to help you better understand the Variable Benefit Plan, we have a few benefit examples to share with you today. We realize that there's significant interest as well as some confusion regarding the Variable Benefit Plan and exactly how the benefit is produced. If you haven't already viewed both the PowerPoint presentation and the Y-Draw education material provided, I'd highly recommend that you do that prior to watching this video. The previous education material helps to provide the foundation as to why we're working on this project, and it illustrates the constraints of our current pension benefit formula. Rather than dive straight into how a pilot would accumulate an annual benefit under the VB plan, we thought it might be helpful to show you an analysis of the current A plan benefit compared with pilots who were entirely in the new variable benefit plan from the same starting point, 1999. In other words, we'll provide you an example of 3 pilots starting at FedEx in 1999 under the existing A plan, and then we'll show you those same 3 pilots starting in 1999 but under the variable benefit plan design. We've done this to put in place actual market returns from this period, but with today's pay rates. Obviously, there's a few assumptions in terms of the plan design itself that we had to make in order to produce a specific benefit. You should understand that there are certain aspects of the plan design that would be open and subject ultimately to negotiations, but this representative example is well within what can be expected as potential outcome of the variable benefit plan. Before I explain the assumptions, it should be noted that this product is just one small example of what Chiron has the ability to produce when they model various retirement plan designs. Their proprietary modeling is driven by powerful data. That data has come directly from what has been shared with us by FedEx through their actuarial firm, Mercer. The sample we're viewing today is for 3 FedEx pilots hired at 25, 35, and 45 years old. Each of the new hires will progress along the average career upgrade timeline for all FedEx pilots. Again, this career progression is the same one that FedEx uses when they evaluate various cost projections for FedEx pilots. Each of the pilots will begin on today's present salary scales and the pay rates found in the CBA. Thereafter, those rates are assumed to increase year over year at 3%. We'll show you what each of these pilots would accumulate under the traditional A plan and then the variable plan if they retired at age 60 or delayed and retired at age 65. Other assumptions in the plan design take into account that the variable plan has a targeted hurdle rate of 5%. You may recall that the hurdle rate is what the plan investments will target, and if the returns are less, then the annual benefit is reduced. If the hurdle rate is exceeded, then the benefit is increased. The actual benefit is accrued each year based on either the higher of the floor benefit or the variable benefit. Previously, we have discussed other alternative plan designs that include stabilization reserves, but in this particular scenario, it wasn't included. This example also uses the pilot's assumed W-2 pensionable earnings up to the 2017 401A-17 limits set by the IRS. Beyond 2017, we have indexed those IRS limits to increase based on historical inflation rates. Our pilots in this example each earn 1,000 hours of credit per year with no breaks in service. The traditional plan is using the average high 5 years of pensionable earnings without any age service multipliers found in the CBA. New hire pay was calculated at $73,530. The variable plan uses historical returns from 1999 through 2016 based on a 50% equity and 50% income allocation. We felt that using 1999 as a starting point was useful for 2 reasons. First, being that the current traditional A plan formula was established in that year, and second, we experienced 2 large downturns in the economy over the period of time. We have the ability with Chiron to backtest every plan design back to 1929 and through every major downturn in the market through any number of scenarios. We have stress tested and will continue to stress test all of our plan designs. From 2017 forward, it was assumed that the 5% hurdle would be met in each year, no better, no worse. To begin with, you can see each pilot represents a different demographic of a 25, 35, and 45-year-old new hire with a starting salary of $73,500. In retirement scenario number 1, each pilot has an annual pay at age 60 assumed under the normal career progression. It's hard to imagine that a 25-year-old hired today would have an $827,000 salary, but again, that's for a 35-year career with our pay rates through the end of the agreement, which amounts to a 3% year-over-year increase after a pilot obtains the maximum pay rate of a 15-year wide-body captain. What you see is that both the 25 and 35-year-old max out our current plan due to the 25-year service cap and the $260,000 pay cap. This amounts to a maximum pension of $130,000 per year. The 45-year-old retires with 15 years of service and a $78,000 pension. If those same pilots were in the variable benefit plan concept as new hires, they would accrue a significantly improved benefit. Even the pilot hired at age 45 sees a 3% improvement and builds a pension of nearly $81,000. What you begin to see is the significant impact from our higher W-2s above the current $260,000 cap in the 25 and 35-year-old pilot. No longer constrained at 25 years of service and average high 5, all 3 pilots earn a benefit each year based on their actual W-2 earnings up to the IRS limits. Both benefit accruals are calculated at 25 years of service, but in the variable plan, this pilot develops a total annual benefit of almost $171,000. That's a 31% improvement over the current plan. If you were to obtain that benefit from our current A plan, there would need to be an increase in the current $260,000 pay cap to $342,000. Moving over to the 25-year-old, you can begin to see what horsepower comes from removing both the 25-year service cap and the pay cap in the new variable plan design. The 25-year-old earns an annual pension benefit of nearly $283,000 for life, a 118% increase over the current A plan. Retirement scenario number 2 takes our 3 FedEx pilots out to age 65 for retirement. Obviously, we could retire at any age in between, but for simplification, we use 65, which allowed us to show you the full potential of the new plan design. Our actual pilot behavior makes this fundamental example even more appropriate in that we see the vast majority of our pilots retiring at age 63 and 64, and very few retire early. The only difference in the pension accrued in the traditional plan in scenario number 2 for these 3 pilots is the 45-year-old. This is due to the additional 5 years of service with the assumed maximum $260,000 cap. You can see that the pension remains the same for the 25 and 35-year-old with the maximum accrual benefit of $130,000 per year. In the variable plan design, the 45-year-old accumulates a significant improvement compared to the traditional plan, earning just more than $124,000 per year, a 20% improvement. The 25-year-old pilot clearly accrues the largest pension at more than $350,000 per year, a 169% improvement over the current A plan design. The important takeaway is to realize the value of the variable benefit plan and that it continues to produce a higher benefit each year because its foundation is our ever-increasing W-2s through contractually mandated pay raises and through seat upgrades, in essence providing a built-in COLA or cost of living adjustment. The variable benefit plan could also include the ability of the beneficiary to either lock in the earned benefit for life or continue in the market at the negotiated hurdle rate. In closing, we hope this sample retirement benefit modeler begins to paint a picture of the potential of the variable plan design. We realize it will be important for you to understand and to calculate exactly how the benefit is determined on an annual basis and that it differs significantly from the current A plan calculation. With that in mind, our next education video will be built around that effort. You can continue to send in your questions to our website at fdx.alpa.org. Please remain engaged in our effort as we work towards improving the retirement benefit for all FedEx pilots. Thank you.